Okay, I really love you guys. You're great dogs, but you're gonna have to go. Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. So I know you're probably like, where are you? I figured we needed a change in scenery. So I came out here, there's some really nice like natural lighting, and I don't know, I've been feeling really good today. So I was like, I want some natural lighting, I want a different background. So when I feel like I want a different background, I make a different background. So that's just to get that out of the way. Next thing is, I read a book recently. My friends and I decided we're gonna start a book club. And my friend picked this book and she was like, read it. I read the first excerpt of it, it's really good. This book is the second 5-star book I've had this year. And it is just the most interesting book. I'm really gonna get into the logistics of it, but I am so confused by this book. So this is called The Diary of an Oxygen Thief by Anonymous. I'm sure you probably heard of this. This book's been around for almost 10 years, actually for longer than 10 years, almost 11 years. And it is essentially a novel by a guy who is an alcoholic, but he reveals at the beginning of the book that he likes hurting girls emotionally, never physically. So he just gets this weird pleasure out of hurting girls. Like he'll get them to fall in love with him, and then he just basically cuts them off. And I have little tabbies in here because these were things that kind of really struck me specifically. I think I read this at a really good time in my life. Now, you're gonna go on Goodreads probably, or you're gonna go on and look at the reviews for this book, and you're gonna see they're very, very mixed. You either really like this book or really hate this book, because I have heard people who absolutely trashed this book. And so, you know, it's kind of, I think, really where you're coming from relationship-wise. I think I could really relate to some of the things that were in this book, on a really, really deep level on some of the things that I've been through. So I think for me, I kind of was like, yes, this book, yes, because I understand the background to it, but if you don't, you may not like it. So basically, it's written in the same sense. Now, I didn't love Lolita. My friend actually who picked this book loves Lolita. It's written in the same style as Lolita, in the sense of you are getting the perspective from a main character and you end up sympathizing for them when you shouldn't. This narrator in this novel is the most narcissistic, like just the worst dude, like somebody you would not want to be friends with, somebody you wouldn't want to know. He basically is just a terrible person, and he just holds all this anger and hurt inside of him that he feels like he needs to hurt other people, specifically girls. And I just look at him and I see a lot of people that I know, a lot of guys that I've dated in him. And it's scary to think that you know somebody who could be like this, who would literally lead girls on just to hurt them. And I think when I read it, I think that's why so much of it struck me, because of that reason. I think if you've never had that kind of experience with someone where they've hurt you that much, I don't know that this will necessarily like relate to you. I wanted to highlight a couple of the parts that I put little tabbies in, because I don't usually do that with books. So you know, it really struck me if I did that. So the first thing is on page 12. Oh wow, I remember reading this part. So basically he was with this girl for 4.5 years. And I'm not gonna spoil the end of this. This part is not spoiling it because it happens in the first 20 pages, but if you don't wanna hear it, you can skip it. I'm not gonna spoil how the ending happens though, because it is a very, very like sad ending. But one of the things he says to this girl that he's been dating for 4.5 years, right? And he says, I'm gonna dismantle us tonight and there's nothing you can do about it. You'll have to sit there and listen while I wrench the U from the S. You'll question your own judgment and maybe you'll never really trust yourself again. And I think just kind of like that he gave that background. I think most guys usually when they are breaking up with somebody or when they're doing something like that, they think about those kinds of things, but they don't really like verbalize them. So for him to say like, oh, you're never gonna trust yourself again, you know, I'm gonna dismantle us and there's nothing you can do about it. I think that's the worst, like just way you could have brought that up, and it shows the cruelty of just kind of like, you're gonna have to take this and you're gonna like it. Which is exactly the reason that breakups are the worst, is because you have to take it and you have to like it. And then, what you do comes back to you with twice the force. No, 3 times the force. We're not punished for our sins, we're punished by them. And I think that was just, I was like, oh shoot. Because I believe that. I think for the most part, especially with not necessarily karma, I don't know what you want to call it, but I do believe that everything bad you do comes back. Like it does, it gets brought to the light. Like whether or not you want to admit that you did it or it was wrong, it happens and it's gonna come out eventually. And then this was on page 84. If you can encourage the man to be himself, to reveal his character, his ways, then you know how to navigate him, and therefore he will never be able to hide from you, and I already knew this. That kind of, I think really more than anything speaks to this person's character. Now, this book is written from the perspective like this guy is writing sort of an autobiography, but we can't really be sure if he's a character, if he's writing this from personal experience. My lighting is changing so much because the sun is setting and like moving behind me, so I apologize for like how washed out I look, but so I think this part specifically really speaks to when someone is hurt. Like this man knew that, I'm assuming it's a man because I mean, I think he refers to himself as a man, but I'm not positive. Yeah, he does, because he talks about being a man, but yes. Just the fact that he thinks about it this way. You know, I don't think I would ever think about like, oh, I'm gonna get somebody to reveal themselves to me so I can like exploit them for it. I felt so sorry for him. And when I started the book, I really kind of resented him as a character because of the things that I've been through. I was like, nah, screw you, like you're literally the worst. And he is still the worst. But I think when you hear someone's perspective, you know, it's like when you watch Wicked after seeing The Wizard of Oz and you see the reason why Elphaba is the way she is, why she's the Wicked Witch, you know, when somebody reveals, it's kind of like, I don't want to spoil Scandal here because this is, I think it's only like second season that this happens, but when you find out why Melly is the way that she is in Scandal, you like sympathize with her. You like, I get you. Like you may not get her, but like you understand why she does what she does, and it's the same thing as this. You know, you don't excuse what they do, but you get it and you feel sorry for them. He, as a character, we never learn his name. We don't know who he is. He reveals the names of some of the girls that he's like hurt or talked to in the past, but we never learn his name. And I think sometimes if this was written by a woman who was like playing a man, you know, I actually tried to do some research to figure out who wrote this book. I was like, who wrote this? I need to know. I need to like figure this out. I'm gonna be like, and I actually don't think that there's any evidence anywhere that I could find on who wrote it. And I don't know. I mean, maybe it's best that way because there are things at the end of the book that you would understand why somebody would write this anonymously. You know what I mean? I know a lot of people who do things like this. And it's messed up how many people, you know, and people wrote that in the reviews, and I think that's a reason why a lot of people give it low reviews is because they're like, I don't want to even think that this person exists, right? Because when we think that, when you have to confront that reality, it's like, oh God. It's like the fact that somebody who manipulates people and does all these things, like yeah, it's scary. But I mean, the writing of it, I think it was not anything where, you know, I'd say I'd put it on a scale of like, from formality of it, it's not very formal writing, but it's not supposed to be. It's a 140 page like novel of, this sounded like it was somebody's manuscript. It sounded like it was somebody's diary, right? If I sent my diary to a publisher and was like, hey, publish this. But it was one of those books where it was a very tumultuous relationship. You're like, I love you, no I don't. I love you, no I don't. I hope you guys enjoyed this kind of like ranty, ravey kind of book talk. You know, there's not really too much I can give you on a plot synopsis because it's kind of just like happens in the book. He doesn't really, it's kind of telling his life, but it's just not, it's not like this, then this, then this, then this. It's kind of like things play out in different ways. Thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed. If you did, give it a big thumbs up. If you like the background, let me know because I can film out here whenever I want to. So thank you guys so much. Again, thank you for watching my videos. Thank you for listening to me ramble. Thank you for everything that you do for me. I love you so, so much. So I will see you guys back here later.